from our standpoint, the way I have developed this with our current academy staff and the previous ones was trying to make our PT, because early days, probably prior to me coming on, and maybe some of the early PT that we may understand would be more of a disciplined style of PT, where you just come in and just hammer them into the ground as much as you could, until you now come in with a strength and conditioning background and actually tell them the why. I know this generation is more of asking like a 4-year-old, why?
Yes.
I'm to awesomely tell them why we're doing this. And this is the aspect, or, hey, this is going to be where I'm going to try to take your soul. I'm going to put you on this assault bike for 1.5 miles. And can you do it under 3 minutes and 30 seconds? And that's the one from Power Athlete and John Wellborn. So we assess our kids midway through the academy, so they've got some conditioning, and then just some basic long endurance sometimes, just to test mental capacity. And we explain why we do it. So it's not just, oh, we're doing this. Plus, our academy staff also does the work with them. So we don't just assign these recruits work. We actually train with the recruits, or we'll do the workout prior to.
And if you're listening out there right now and you're thinking, but yeah, like one of the things we have to do in the academy is break them down and give them discipline and show them how tough we are as the cadre of instructors. Think of it this way. The academy is really an opportunity to instill a love or a tolerance of health, wellness, fitness. And so you can either do good in the academy, or you can truly do evil, and you can have your whole recruit class leaving saying, I am not ever effing doing that again. And I think that's a huge mistake. It's a missed opportunity when we don't instill that at least respect for health and wellness and for our body. Would you agree, Troy?
Most definitely. I explain that to them the same way as I don't want punishment or PT as punishment. I want it enjoyable, because this is something that can be a great stress reliever for us. I use it as a stress reliever. I've always loved training. I've been doing it since the 7th grade, since my dad dropped me off at the Superior Supreme Courts just to start exercising. Got into the field and loved it. So I don't like it as a punishment. Now, on the flip note, there is team exercise activities, as Rafa Weiss will state. There are times for punishment. There are times for discipline for making errors, but that's not part of PT. And I also explain that in the beginning to recruits. Again, if you make a mistake and you have to do extra work, guess what we are doing? We are actually making you better. You are actually getting fitter. If I truly wanted to do it backwards, I would keep you from doing PT and make you less fit and tell you you cannot exercise. But that's not part of the program.
You know what, as a side comment, I once had a firefighter drop into my DMs. I was asking a question about recruit training and probationary firefighters in my Instagram stories. And he dropped in and he said, when they're on probation, they're not allowed to work out. And I said, that seems a little bit backwards to me. Tell me more. And he said, well, you know, they should be cleaning the bathrooms and they should be doing X, Y, and Z. And I said, do you think that by not allowing them to work out, you're now making them seem like that's something they're earning or something that they get to do after they've been on a year? And he said, yeah, that's what we're doing. And I said, how is your success rate? And he said, oh, not so good. So I think we have to be very careful how we handle our incumbents and our probationary officers and firefighters. I think that there is that mental aspect to this, and we have to keep that in mind too. Speaking of mental aspect, Troy, I see you on Instagram doing stuff with worksheets and moving cups and all kinds of different things. Tell me more.
Yeah, attending the Tactical Strength and Conditioning Conference a few years back, John, and I'm blanking on his last name right now, he's a Army Ranger, he brought up one of the talks before Tex McQuilkins, and they were doing a concentration grid and adding that to add stress and just their ability to have some mental focus. So spoke with him after, and ever since we've been diving deep headlong into it. And if you want to understand concentration grids, just go to concentrationgrids.com and you can print a concentration grid. It's from 00 to 99. And you just add a little bit of physical stress, and that's just some aerobic capacity, and then have them try to cross off numbers. You can give them in random order, go by threes, go from 00 to 99, what have you. We will constantly change it to just add a little bit of stress to them to get their ability to focus their mind, and then also some breath control to force them into some nasal breathing to relax and slow them down.
And do you see that translating to potentially better decision making under stress on the road? I would guess yes.
Yes, I think so. We brought a few of our SWAT team members were in for some training with us, and we were doing one of these grids along with stacking some nuts on top of each other, and we threw them in. So that was another avenue John threw out there for me to add in. And so I jumped on that. So adding fine motor skill with a high heart rate to stack. And can you stack them on end, not the easy flat on top? You literally turn it on its side and stack the hexes 6 high or 7 high. Now you truly have to focus mental and physical with your fingers and dexterity with a high heart rate. So maybe 10 calories on the echo bike as hard as you can, or row, and then sprint up, do it. And the other one is rowing until you can stack everything. So that's a good challenge.
I honestly don't know if I could stack nuts without the stressor. I'm going to try it. As soon as we get off this call, I'm going to try it. So let's go back to these recruits. Tell me again, how long is your recruit academy?
So our recruit academy is anywhere from 22 to 24 weeks. Okay. Depending on holidays.
Wow, that is a significant academy. I love that. So how do you keep them engaged in health and wellness once they are free to fly out of the academy?
That one's an interesting one. It's some emails to the group and to the field, but beyond that, it's very tough being a one-man show for the whole agency. They all have my cell phone number. They all have my email address, but as we know with most people, it's very hard to ask or to contact. I do get it here and there, plus the fun, which will be on Tuesday. I get to see our previous academy receive their automobiles. So they've been in their field training program now for 14 weeks. So after your 22-week academy, you graduate, you go to the field for 14 weeks. I will get to see them 14 weeks later, one with more hair, maybe a mustache, and then maybe a little bit more bulk because they're going to get a little bit more food because now that they're not in the academy. But I'll get to see them and, again, let them know that I can be reached at any time.